everybody. Hopefully the wind's not too loud. Just doing a little bit of fence line maintenance here. Since we don't have a tractor with a mowing attachment, gonna have to do this by hand with a gas-powered weed eater. Only gonna do like a path wide enough to walk down along the fence line. The county comes through every now and then and mows the whole ditch. Not worried about that. We just this got away from us, but we like to keep this knocked down so the goats aren't tempted to keep pushing the fence over to get to it. Anyhow, I think the wind's too loud. Hopefully you guys can hear that. I'll show you the after when I'm done. That's what one tank of gas will get you. I got to do a refill and we'll keep going. So I'm over here with a weed eater, making a pretty nice path. And the goats are over there on a freshly mowed pasture. Something don't seem right. Not sure what it is. Let me think about it. Now I can get to this stump from the fence line tree that we cut the other day. So I'll be able to take care of that hopefully tomorrow. Pretty big trunk. Should be fun. Well, there you go. One fence line done. You can see that stump from the tree down there. You couldn't see that earlier when the grass was before I cut it. 3 more fence lines to go. Fun. So continuing the weekend of cleanup. The goats think they're going to help, but I'm pretty sure they won't. That's all Maxwell's good for, is destroying things. Get out of here. Hey. Anyhow, so yesterday I did all that weed eating along the fence line, and today we've got these cedar trees in our, this is the goat pasture, and they strip all the greenery off as high as they can reach, which is fine. But we get these invasive volunteer saplings, I don't know what they are, that grow up between them. And so we're going to prune those out. I'm going to prune the limbs off of this since it's kind of a futile, they won't ever grow back. Look at that silly goat. I guess he doesn't like still. He must be a Husqvarna fan. Anyhow, so then we're going to clean up that tree that I fell last, or was that 2 weeks ago? But you can see these cedars that dot through the pasture, how they're all stripped up about 5 foot. We're going to limb those up, or a couple of them anyhow. I just wanted to show you this one, and we'll do a before and after. Hang on. I wanted to show you this real quick. I picked this up, oh, I don't know, it's been 6-7 months ago probably. It's just a compartmentalized storage container. Real good latches. Everything's held on real tight on this lid. And then each one of these will actually come out. So you could empty the whole thing and just use it as a big box or like this. But I've been using it for my chain storage. And it'll hold, if you roll it tightly, you can get a 36-inch loop in here. So far I'm liking it. It's a good way to keep them from getting tangled up, keeps them dry, you know, in case it rains or something like that, and they're not just all thrown in the bottom of my toolbox. I think the more I mess with this, what I'll probably do is label these boxes, you know, used and new, or sharp and dull. That way when I take one off in the field, I can throw it in a dull box and then have my sharp ones ready to go, something like that. Just like I said, just started using this, so I'd love to hear what you guys do for chain storage. If you're the kind of person that takes new chains with you out in the field and swaps them rather than filing this way. I like this because I can just keep cutting, and when I get home I can do everything at the bench. Just thought I'd share that with you. Let me know what you guys do down in the comments. I know YouTube isn't real friendly to post pictures, but if you have a link to the storage devices you use or something like that, if it's something you bought online, that'd be really cool. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Talk to you soon. All right, there's the after. Pruned up all the dead branches, pulled out that I think it was an elm sapling, got that cut off, and kind of weed eated. The problem we get is, as these cedars are natural and have their foliage all the way to the ground, not much grows under them. But with the goats eating all the needles off the branches, weeds and invasive plants start coming in, not grass, but things you don't want. So what we'll do now is, as we get waste bedding straw from the goats and chickens, I'll put some around the base of this to help prevent the weeds from taking back over, so I'm not out here every week weed eating. Anyhow, off to the next one. And so here's a pile of brush. This is from just the 2 cedar trees that we cleaned up in the one pasture. Might be hard to tell how big that is. Pretty good sized pile. We'll burn this later, probably in the fall. The problem, this is what was taking so much time each time you did one of these trees. One, these cedar branches are, it's a mess to get in there with a chainsaw, start cutting. And once you get a little opening, you can, but they're very sharp, pokey. They scratch you up. They're hard to load and haul out. And so here's the problem, because we don't have a tractor or even a trailer, all this goes in the pickup. And this is probably, believe it or not, 10 pickup loads, simply because you can't get that many in there. They're so unruly. And then when we're coming from a far pasture through a gate, through another pasture to get over here to dump it, very, very time consuming. Day like this, I sure wish we had a tractor with a bucket or like a brush grapple, something that would have made this life a lot easier, even a trailer. But anyhow, we do what we can with what we got. I just wanted to kind of show you guys, that's the damage from pruning up. This is a little bit of, it's mostly cedar, then it's a little bit of that elm tree from the fence line that I cut down, the brush from that. So I've started a new section here of stacking firewood. I've still got all this to stack. That's from the neighbor. I did not have time to get to it this weekend. I'll try and work at it on this week in the hour or two I have each morning before work. He's got a lot more to bring over. But as you can see at the end here, this is some of the wood that we cut up from pruning those trees. A lot of little cedar branches and stuff, but rather than just burn it in a brush pile, I went ahead and bucked it up for firewood. It'll all burn. Here's a bunch. This is all from yesterday. This is cedar and that elm. And then the cherry pile here I've had for a month or two, but then we just added some of the bigger rounds of elm. This is where I'm gonna start splitting. This will be my new splitting area, simply because I'm keeping this open for the neighbor to dump wood. And then we'll stack a big square here, 18 by 18, 6 feet tall, of firewood. Then once that's filled up, I may have to move over into this area. I don't know. We'll see what room allows. But as always, still getting firewood. We never stop. Fortunately, this stuff was just from prunings on our own property, so don't want anything to go to waste. It was kind of sad to see this. One of these, I think these are firs in here, is dead. Not really sure why or how it happened. This is the area that we just fenced off because the goats kept eating all the the fir needles off these branches, and we wanted to save them. So I put this, kind of temporary / semi-permanent fence up around it to keep them out of there. It was not dead when I did that, and now it is. The other branches are slowly getting some needles back on them, so hopefully, they're not gonna die too. I'm not sure what caused that one to die. It's going to be a challenge to get it out of there because these things are so close together. Falling it, they're going to just get caught up in there, so I may just leave it for a while. All these trees are improperly planted. They planted them way too close together. Whoever did it, they did it for like a windbreak, I guess. But they won't make it long. They're just going to keep choking each other out. So technically, I should probably take this whole front row out. These those are 5 trees here, or 6, and then maybe every other one on the backside out, so they can grow bigger and fuller. But I need to do some investigating on that. Maybe some of you tree guys might be able to help me there. We're in northwest Illinois, and these appear to be some type of fir or pine tree. I want to say a fir, but I don't know what kind. Yeah, if you guys have any ideas or tips on how I can keep these things alive and growing healthy, I'd appreciate it. Thanks. So I forgot to take a before video of this, but here's a cedar that we cleaned up underneath, and there's I believe this is an elm tree growing next to it, and it was run amok. I pruned a little bit off of it, had some dead branches coming out. All the trees on this property are in pretty sad shape. They were never maintained. They were just pasture trees that nobody took care of. I don't know how much longer this tree will live. It's the trunk here looks healthy, but because of, like you can see down to the bottom, that piece I cut off, that was completely dead. The tree at one point has, looks like it has split at the base. This may end up, it's leaning a little. It may end up falling in a couple years. We'll keep an eye on it, but if we can get a couple more years out of it, that'd be great. The cedars, if anybody knows anything about these, I don't. They remind me of like a juniper plant that's just gotten bigger. But just about every one of them we have on our property are split at the ground level like that. They're all pairs and they grow apart. It doesn't seem to be an issue. We've only had one actually fall over that grew up like this, and that was in a windstorm. But it's just interesting to me that they aren't single trees that grow up. Maybe some of you guys know about that. But just to give you an idea, so this will be a neat little spot for the ponies. They can come up into here in the shade or get out of, if a quick rainstorm comes through. It gives them a little bit of natural shelter, because this cedar was all the way to the ground, and then this elm here was just a mess, and you couldn't, they used to could walk behind it, but then they haven't been able to do that for a year, and we just haven't got out here to take care of it. This is just the pile of brush just from this tree, just from this little bit of pruning here. So it gives you an idea how much we did. We have a lot more to do. We're gonna just pick away and do a few at a time. And then there's a tree up there. I won't walk all the way up to it, but you can see it had the same issue. I cut a branch off that was completely dead. I think that one may make it, but again, hard to say. These dead branches, they're rotting, and they go all the way back down into the trunk. So it depends how much rot got pulled into the trunk. The whole thing may end up going, I don't know. And I just wanted to show you guys this. I forgot to take a before, but this was the kind of stuff we were doing this weekend. We got a lot more to do, but we're just gonna do a little at a time. Thanks a lot. Bye now.